What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is having a great day. I have a fun one for you guys. Today I've been speaking about sharing my community collection of the bear pieces, poured silver, cast pieces, wood pours, all different clay cast, regular cast, all different types of sweet pours that I've been collecting from the bear for, let's see, at least 6 years now. I believe I've been collecting awesome pieces from the bear, and just excited to share that with you guys. I started getting into precious metals, looking into it, learning about it probably in 2013, and was on YouTube watching a lot of people back then, getting involved in it. And at the very beginning of 14, I started picking up pieces, and the world was different back then. And I was stacking for a while, making some unboxing videos, and then I was getting ready to at the time we were getting ready to have twins, and I took about a year off of YouTube. And I didn't make any videos, and I really wasn't participating too much in the silver stacking. And when I came back, a lot of things had changed, because when I very first started stacking, poured silver wasn't very prevalent out there, and a lot of it actually had, at least in the YouTube silver community, things were a lot different back then, and poured silver was viewed as, like a waste of money. People really focused on just generics and eagles back then. Premiums were very low. It had just been, the downturn of when the market crashed and silver spiked, and people were really focusing on, low premium cost metals. I'm telling you all that. And then when I got into YouTube back then, as far as poured silver goes, it was YPS, and MK bars started pouring, and Mutiny Metals. There was a couple other, but there was some Baycitybullion. They weren't the only ones, but primarily those were the people out there pouring. And it was very simple pieces. Squares and hearts and shapes and things like that came about, and people got really excited about it. And I'm kind of, I guess, giving you guys a little bit of a history of poured silver, as I'm going to be sharing my bear collection with you guys today, because I feel it's important, and where poured silver has come after all these years, and all the ups, and downs that it's had in the past. And if you're new, you may not realize that, or you see a lot of the crazy cool stuff that comes out today, and a lot of people are lost wax casting, but the journey from where it started to simple pieces to where it's at today in such a short amount of time, and people's views on poured silver back then. And some people still have these views to where they feel that poured silver, they stay away from it because their coin shop may not want it, or may not recognize it, or different things like that, or because of the premium, or whatever the reason is. But I feel, and it's not just because I pour silver myself, because I didn't start pouring until 2019, and I've been purchasing poured silver for a lot of years before I decided to give it a go myself. I feel one day a lot of these, not just the bear, but especially the bear, because he's made so many beautiful, wonderful pieces over the years, but a lot of the pours out there in the pouring community, a lot of those pieces, and you're already starting to see it, are becoming very collectible, and holding, extremely high premiums on the secondary market for different people. So I feel like that's only going to continue to, go in that direction. I feel a lot of the older pieces, and they already are, it's not just my opinion, it's already happening, from YPS or MK or, Mutiny Metals, or people like the Bear and countless others that have poured, that they're going to be very, cherished collectible pieces down the road. So that was my long diatribe before I get into showing you the bear stuff. And I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of history into my YouTube journey. So when I came back and I started seeing people like the Bear and the Vulcans, and who else can I say, like Mr. Zeke, None of those guys were around, or I did not know of them. I don't want to say they weren't around. I wasn't aware of them the first time I was on YouTube before I took my long break. And then when I came back, YouTube had a completely different, all these new people, all these new faces in the silver community when I came back, and the Bear was one of them, and we hit it off, and I really liked his style. And I reached out to him to start making me some pieces, and we've been friends ever since. And YouTube's like that. And I started I was back into YouTube for a while, collecting vintage and pieces like this, and and then I took another break once I started pouring. I got more into real estate, things like that. I was gone for some years, maybe put 1 or 2 videos out there. And now I've been back for the last few months, and it's the same thing. There's lots of really large YouTube channels out there, more people pouring, people that I don't recognize, that are really large in the community, and it's a completely different landscape once again. But so I just wanted to kind of give you a overview of how I got into it, where I'm at, the different things that I've seen in YouTube over the years. This piece here was part of the very first order that I had with the Bear. I saw some of the stuff that he was making, and I contacted him and I asked him, for a certain specific ounce count, and I asked him, just surprise me, come up with some cool stuff. And he sent me a little grab bag of stuff, and the video is still on my YouTube channel. And like I said, I think it was the very, very beginning of 2017. So yeah, it's a little over 6 years ago now. I received this first order from the Bear. And this was what he called, the pieces of Bear, the pieces of hate, or 8, little 2-ounce piece. That was one of them. And one of the other pieces was this Jason mask, which is cool. And this one's 4.4 ounce, and you can see the old Bear stamp that he used to use way back in the beginning. And Bear's probably gonna watch this video and be like, man, why do you gotta show off all these old pieces? I've talked to him before, and he's like, those were pieces when I started, and they don't look the greatest. Well, to me, they look awesome. And this has a lot of history, not just for my silver stack, but with our friendship and poured silver out there, and the journey that it's made. And they all mean a lot to me. And this here, if you notice this, if you are of my age or an 80s kid, this was He-Man's axe. So this was another piece, part of that order. And then the next piece was a piece we kind of chuckle at today. This was an alien egg, from Aliens, the movie. But after years, I'll give you guys a guess on what we call it now. But it's a 2.6 ounce, and there's the old Bear stamp. Just a cool piece from back in the day. And from there we kind of hit it off. And I continued to pick up pieces from him and add them into my community stack. Here's a cool piece. This one's 6 troy ounce. Some of these pieces have been beaten around, my community stack for years, so some of them might be a little grimy or whatever. I haven't really, shined them up or anything. And again, these are quite a few years old, so if there's any nicks and stuff like that, don't think that was a bad quality pour from the Bear, because he's extremely meticulous and he does an absolutely wonderful job. So here's another cool piece. This one's an older piece as well. This was the Death Axe. Really cool. As you can see, the battle axe with the teeth there. Just a lot of detail. Just a really sweet piece that he made back in the day. Made a lot of cool little 3D pieces like that. Sold them to people. Here's the Death Sword. Kind of goes along with it. You can see kind of the skulls here. Just really cool pieces from back in the day. That I still have and will always have in my community stack. Here's another cool weapon. I told him I wanted a big battle axe, and he did not disappoint. As you can see here, this is a really cool, old school, just ginormous battle axe. I don't know if he ever poured any more of these, or if maybe 1 or 2 at the most. A lot of the pieces, since we were friends, I have a lot of his prototypes, #1 bars or 101s, lots of things like that from him, and he has reciprocated over the years when I started pouring and purchased a lot of pieces from me. As you can see, this really cool long sword. Very, very cool. I'll start going through these more. Here's some older pieces, just old machine guns. Back then, people, and especially Bear, was very creative, trying to do different things all the time. You know, back, we used to do a lot of lives, and he would pour into different things like popcorn or spaghetti noodles, or one time he poured into a fish's, like a dead fish's mouth, all sorts of crazy stuff, meat, just to see what the silver would do. A lot of fun back in the day. We had a whole lot of fun on YouTube back in the day, and I know some of you guys that will be watching this will be from that era, and we're around back then, and you'll understand. 4-ounce piece, number 1 there, old Zelda shield. Here's one of my favorite skulls in my collection. Just really cool, super deep eye sockets, nice detail on the teeth. Just did a real good job with that. Another old piece, as you can see, 2.8 ounces. And I realize this video is going to be long, but that's okay. You can kick back and enjoy looking at all this old, cool, poured silver art, is what I like to call it. A lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of love went into these pieces from the Bear. This is a cool sword from the Game of Thrones. He's not Game of Thrones, excuse me, God of War series, the video game, and I actually have a couple of them. Did a pretty cool job on those. Next we have, I like to call Rambo's knife. Just a cool old knife. He antiqued the handle there, have a nice shiny blade. Just trying different things back then. A lot of people, you know, people like the Bear, just trying to make different things, put different finishes on stuff. Again, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but things were a lot different back then. Here's a really nice Groot piece, 3.1 ounce there. Very cool piece, lots of detail on that one. Here we have a Skeletor, just a cool little guy here that actually stands up. Yeah, well, my hand's shaky, but he stands up nonetheless. Just a cool piece. And here's Castle Grayskull. Again, you know, we're 80s kids, so we really dig this type of stuff. You know, if you guys, you obviously know this is from He-Man, if you were around back then. This is one of my favorite pieces he's made me, and this one was actually a lost wax piece. He was given lost wax ago, trying out some different things, trying to get that to work for him. That was one of his first lost wax pieces. I'm really happy to have that in my collection. Here's a dragon that was popular that he made a lot of. I think some other people made this as well, but Bear made quite a few of them. As you can see, nice old piece there. Just a nice old dragon piece. There were some bars as well. If you've ever seen the Bear's YouTube channel, he hasn't really been doing much on YouTube in many, many years, but this is part of his intro. I always called it the E.T. bar because it looks like E.T.'s face with the hood on. Just a cool old bar, about 5.5 ounces, and just a nice bar to have in the stack there. Let's see where we're going to go next. Let's go ahead. We're going to skip around. This is a little bit newer bar. Bear likes to pour in wood. Some of the silver pourers out there like to pour in wood. This one, obviously, you can see has an extremely high relief. I'm Baycitybullion, and I live in Michigan around the Great Lakes. So I sourced some driftwood and sent driftwood down to the Bear, and he did some pours in the driftwood. And this was the number 2 bar. He only did a very small handful of bars into the driftwood, and this was one of them. So very, very cool piece to add to my Bear collection. And speaking of wood pours, here's one of the most epic ones that I ever saw a video on. This is a 1 kilo bar, a 1 kilo wood pour. Very, very cool. This thing pretty much exploded when he poured it into the wood. All the moisture in the wood shot silver all over his pouring bench and all over the place. But this one was poured quite a few years ago. I told him I wanted a kilo wood pour, and that's what I ended up with. Really cool kilo bar, in my opinion. Here's a really cool piece here. This one he calls the beef axe. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's just got a really big, nice size to it. He did a really good job on the detail on this piece. It's just a real fun piece. I love axes to begin with, and that one's really, really cool. Next piece I'll share with you is this one here. If you guys were around YouTube a while back, and you ever heard of the Metals Mafia, there was quite a few pourers that were part of the Metals Mafia. Of course, Bear was one of them. Bullion, Silver Vessel, the Vulcans, A.G. Stackin, there was a few other people that would make molds and do different things and help out. And, Mike GPO was a member of that group. This was the absolute very first Metals Mafia bar ever made. And it happened to be made by the Bear, and I have it. And this was a lost wax piece. Number one, he didn't stamp anything prototype back then. But this was a hand-carved mold, and he lost wax it. That's why you can kind of see the lines still from where that mold was carved. Very, very cool piece of silver pour in history right there. I really like that. And here was another handmade mold that I have, and I believe this one was a prototype of 100 gram in this finish that the Bear made. So just a cool piece from back then. Back on Saturday nights many moons ago, they used to do a lot of live streams on YouTube. If you guys were around back then, you probably would have seen some of those, and some bars were definitely poured back then on those live streams. So here we have a Vault Cat, which is a very cool vault bar. Bear kind of went out and started making vault bars and kind of made it his own style. And this was he likes long bars. This is the number one Vault Cat bar. So very happy to have that in my collection. And speaking of the vault bars, I'm going to move my camera for just a moment because we're going to come over here and look. That right there is the first 6 vault bars ever made. So let me center my camera back over here, and I just wanted to show you that cool little pyramid. But here it is. These were handmade molds by the Bear, and they did a really cool job, and he's done many variations of these vault bars over the years. I'm going to be sharing quite a few of them with you. But I got number 1 through 6. Like I stated, he didn't stamp anything prototype back then. So those are the first 6 vault bars. They just happen to be 6 ounces. Here's another cool type of bar, which is the number 1 bar. It's a 5.3. This one is a sand cast. Really cool. It's starting to get some really nice color on it. Just a nice long bar from the Bear. Over here we have, you know what, while we're going through the vault bars, we'll go through a few more. This was right in the beginning when he was trying different shapes and sizes. I don't think he's ever made any more of these. These are probably like one of a kinds that I have. This was a 12.12 or 2.3, as you can see there. Very cool looking. Here was a monster. This one's 22.22, as you can see. I don't think he's ever made more than just this one's probably a one of a kind piece here as well. Just a monster piece there. Happy to have that in the stack. And here is the 10 ounce version. 10 ounce version was really cool. This one's not numbered, but it's within the first 5 that he ever made, if not the first. I don't remember. But the Vulcans might have got the first one, but very, very cool. Definitely have to have some 10 ounce bars in your stack. He also made these Rolo types. And you may have seen one of these in my recent pickup video, because he did make one. This one is a little over 7 ounces. This is the newest one that I just received recently. This is a 5 ounce piece that I asked him to make. He had never made one before. So this little paw stamp is how he marks his prototypes now, how he makes his bars nowadays. There was also, this is an old bar, 4.5. And then I have a few of these 2.3s. This one here is the Proto. I got Proto 1, 2, and 3. So again, I have lots of very, early and rare pieces from the Bear, which is a very cool thing to have. Here's the 4 ounce version, which is also number 1. Here's his 100 gram vault bar, which is also number 1. Here's his 3 ounce version of the vault bars, which is the prototype. Here is his number 2 ounce version. This is the number 1. Here's just a regular poured bar, just a 2 2.2. Just asked him for a 2-ounce bar. That's what we got. Here's a cool old bottle cap bar that he made. Just trying different things. 3 ounces. Just a nice little button. Cool piece for sure. Back here we have a cool cast piece. This is a cast piece, meaning it was not poured. As you can see here, it's just a really cool, this is a 10-ounce bar. I asked him to make me a 10. And you can't see it with the light in here, but it's got a hole that goes pretty much almost all the way down to the bottom. It's really, really cool. If you shine light down it, and I should have had a flashlight so I could show you guys, but very, very cool piece. Just a big old chunk, just a chunk of 10-ounce bar right there for sure. And where am I going to go next? Here is a nice cast 5-ounce button with one of his newer stamps. This one was made not that long ago, and this was the prototype. Again, got the prototype of his 5-ounce cast. I really like the 5-ounce cast, or 5-ounce buttons, whether they're poured or cast, rather. I like them both. Here was a great idea that he had. He calls this his cheese vault, cheese bar. And this is the prototype as well. Prototype meaning it's the very first time he gave it a shot. This is the first bar of this type. That's what that means. And was really, really happy. Bear's made a lot of really cool, creative art over the years. This cheese piece is cool. He is a Packers fan. I try not to hold that against him, though. Here we have a cool hex. It's 5 ounce. That's the number 6. Just a beautiful piece. Just a very, very cool piece. I should get some more of these and stack them up. That's a neat piece by the bear right there. Like that one. And here is the 1 ounce hex of this style. The number 10 looks like. That one's really cool. Really cool cast piece there. No, sand cast piece, that is. And here's a regular 1 ounce hex. That's a cool one for sure. Just really nice clean lines on these bars. And what else can I share with you? This one here is absolutely gorgeous. It's hard, I don't have the greatest lighting. I should have had some better lighting here, Bear, for these. This one he called the nugget malt. As you can see, it looks like a nugget, like a silver nugget. Number 5 here. And he was showing me some love and put a little heart there down on the bottom. But just a really cool, nice tall. He knows I like tall bars like this in this vault shape. So he made this really cool. And I think he sold a few of these. These are beautiful. If you guys are interested in any of this stuff, you can hit the Bear up or comment down below. He'll probably see it. Here's a beautiful 2 ounce long bar. The Bear, that's a prototype as well. Very, very nice. Beautiful work. Bear does great, great work. As you can see that I have lots and lots of his stuff. And here is his 1 ounce vault. This was number 57. He sold a lot of these. This one he stamped a little bit different. Just put the Bear on there for me. And I believe, oh, wait, there's one more thing back here. He wanted to have some of these rolled out pieces. I think he made like maybe 100 of these, and I grabbed 5 of them. They were rolled, stamped. Did these a few years back, or a couple years back. A couple, 3 years back. I don't remember exactly what year it was. But yeah, there was 100 of these made. I grabbed a handful of them. They're all 1/10 ounce. Very, very cool pieces. Always trying different things, new stuff. And as you can see here, here is an actual Bear bar with a Baycitybullion stamp on it. We did a collaboration together. It's the only collaboration I've done with anybody. We made these, or he made, well, we both made these 1 ounce bars. And the ones that we sold to people have the Bear and the Baycitybullion stamp on the front. There's 2 stamps on the top. And then we made, just for our own personal collections, we made 2 of these with the Baycitybullion with the Bear counter stamp. There's 1 and 2, so there's only 2 like this ever made. And he's got one in his stack, and I have one in mine. So we're good buds. Like I said, we've done a lot of trading and a lot of swapping of vintage pours and different pours over the years. And I actually got more Bear pours coming in the mail right now, actually. And I'll share those with you on my next pickups video. But I hope you guys had a fun trip down memory lane, and for you old guys that have been around on YouTube for a while and watched bear grow throughout the years and make different things and have different bear pours yourself in your stack, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I definitely enjoyed getting these pieces out and having fun with them and checking them all out. There's about, like I stated, about 300 ounces of bear goodies right there. And I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you on the next one.